I'm here at women's basketball head coach, Debbie Buff. Coach Buff, thank you for coming, and congrats on a great season.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
All right, so first question I'd like to ask you is, what are the biggest takeaways you have from this past season for your first season here at New Haven?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaways is I was brought in, Chris Palmer gave me the opportunity, which I'm really grateful for, to really change the culture. I've done this in numerous programs, so I really like that challenge. And I think the biggest takeaways is that in 1 year's time, we had a team that really bought in, trust our coaches a lot, and we did things that I don't think many people expected us to do in the first year. My goals coming in were to have 15 plus wins, get to the conference tournament because they didn't qualify last year, and then shake it up a little bit. So we did all that plus more.
Yeah. So how did you see the team evolve from when you first got here until now at the end of the season?
Yeah, in the locker room after the game, we talked a lot about the growth of this team. You know, the first couple practices, just putting my system in, I was like, this could be a long year. But they picked up on it. They believed in it. They came watch film. They asked a lot of questions in the beginning. So I'm really ecstatic. You know, my system is pretty complex. Multiple defenses, multiple offenses, quick hitters. So for them to pick that up all within a year, it's night and day. You know, I think my brother Tim said it best when he came and saw us play later in the season at AIC. He said, "I can't believe this is the same team I saw at St. Rose early in the season." So that's a compliment coming from somebody that's pretty objective. So I couldn't be happier with the growth of the team.
Now, you mentioned your coaching philosophy in the offense and defense, but the defense was a big part of the season as the team was ranked in the top 5 in the NA10 in multiple defensive categories. Now, how important is that in your coaching philosophy?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I've learned in past situations that, you know, even if you don't have a lot of offensive power, you can be really good in defense. So I actually challenged the team to be one of the best defensive teams in the conference. That is how we won back-to-back championships at my last institution. And they took it, you know, they really took it to the next level. And every week I would tell them where we stood defensively. And, you know, playing multiple defenses is something they never have done. So it was a learning experience, you know, because we do switch things on the fly. But just to be one of the top teams, you know, I know even against Lemoyne, like, you know, nobody could score in that game because both teams are great defensive teams. So really proud of that, and I think that enabled us to win 18 games.
Now, you're returning the majority of your roster in Michael Warmack, Bree Pergola, Cameron DeBose, but you're also losing one of your biggest stars in Alexandria Kerr.
Right.
Now, how do you plan on replacing that production in the lineup next season?
Yeah, Aaliyah Christie and Alex Kerr were 2 senior captains that I couldn't be happier with. They both, you know, Aaliyah Christie was the captain from the get-go, and she, you know, she knew her role was to lead this team, and through any adversity, she really kept the team on an even keel. And you know, I'm just really proud of her stepping into that role. Alex Kerr is just amazing in everything she does. You know, when I met with her in the interview, she didn't talk about herself. She just talked about the team and what potential they had, and she really believes in each and every member of the team. So not only are we losing a great player, but we're losing a great leader. So I'm going to have to challenge the returning players and the freshmen that I brought in to make up for that. But I couldn't say enough positive things about both of those two.
Now, going into next season, is there any part of the game that you feel the team can improve on?
Yes. So I brought 4 kids in, 3 of which are from New York. I have all my ties in New York. And we brought a point guard in that can score. She's a leading scorer in her high school. Brought 2 bigs in, and then a shooter from Connecticut. So I think our biggest thing was we did a great job rebounding. We just didn't have a lot of shooting production from the outside. So I'm hoping the freshmen that were in the program this year develop more, just knowing the pace of the game. But the kids coming in, they all come from winning programs. One of them is actually in the state tournament this weekend that I'm going to Albany to see. Okay. But they come from basketball IQs, they come from winning programs, and they're very good students. So it's going to be a different type of team, maybe not as athletic, just different.
Okay. And going off of that now, do you have any specific goals you want to achieve for next year, since you basically did all your goals this year? So like anything else you want to improve on?
I just think it's going to be just different because a lot of these kids will know the system. You know, we have all the scout reports that we didn't have any of starting this season. You know, so I think we're ahead of coming in this year. But I also know we're going to be really young. You know, some of the freshmen coming in could be key contributors, but they're also young contributors. And I know a lot of these teams were young this year, so I think the conference is actually going to be just as strong, if not stronger. So I usually set the goals in the summer. But again, we'll have spring workouts in a couple weeks, and I'll sit down with my staff. And that's one thing I do want to say is that I had a stellar staff, and Steve Bauer and Michelle Brandow as new coaches, and we just really complement each other, and we worked really well. So when you win, it's a combination of obviously the head coach, but your assistants and the team as far as buying in. And also my family has just been the biggest support system I've had. So we'll get back to you on the goals, but we just want to, we think the future's bright, and we want to keep moving forward. The NE10 is outstanding conference, with the best conference I've seen as far as coaches, as far as veteran coaches. So it makes you better as a coach because you have to be better. So I think that has been, my, hats off to all the coaches in the NE10. Everyone does a great job. So we have to continue to get better in postseason workouts, summer programs, and just continue to take one step forward.
Sounds great to hear. Thank you again for coming, and we wish you the best of luck next season.
Thank you. We'll see you next season, bright and early. AM track workouts. We'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.